Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United beat Watford 1-0 and Michael Carrick plays his last game for Manchester United. Very, very sad. Michael Carrick, man of the match. I mean, the goal that won the game, I think it was probably Manchester United's only shot on target in a game where Spurs 5-4, I think they had about 15 shots on target. Liverpool home to Brighton, didn't they win 4-0 with us 15 shots on target? United home to crap as well, 1 shot on target. But I tell you what, thank you Michael Carrick. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for being a Manchester United legend. Maybe that's a debate point for some people, but I think Michael Carrick, I remember Carrick coming to United. I've watched him over the years. He's never been Marmite to me. He's always been caviar. He's a fantastic player. He's not a last-ditch person because he doesn't need to do last-ditch tackles. His positional sense is amazing. His calmness and leadership in that calmness is amazing. I mean, Wayne Rooney said when Carrick was in the midfield, it gave you that freedom to express yourself because you knew he had it sorted behind you. Reads a game so well, but his passing ability as well is pretty much unrivaled in the English game for the last 20 years from that defensive midfield sort of position. 50-yard passes off both feet, accurate. They're not long balls, they're game changers. And we saw it today, and I think Watford fell into a trap. Watford lost that game today, and Mourinho escaped what I think would have been a few boos for him today because it wasn't good. Because of Carrick. Manchester United this season, side-to-side crab football, and I think Watford expected that, but they forgot Michael Carrick was playing because Carrick hasn't played very much. And the difference in that game was Carrick picks it up deep, long ball over the top. I say long ball because it's not. It's a long pass to Mata, squares it to Rashford, offside trap beaten, 1-0. How many times have Manchester United played that ball this season that Carrick played? You can definitely count it on one hand over a 38-game season because we don't do that. We've got Matic who slowly takes the ball off the back four and slowly plays it forward. What Michael Carrick does, he wants it very quickly and he will play it very quickly. And it caught Watford out. And if it wasn't for Michael Carrick today, I think we would have drawn that game because we didn't look like we were going to score goals, did we? We didn't look like we were creating chances because we didn't. Michael Carrick won Manchester United that game today. Very, very fitting that it was his last game and very, very fitting that he gets man of the match because without him, we wouldn't have won. We're incapable of breaking teams down. We are redundant in the final third. We are slow on the ball. 1 shot on goal at Old Trafford is an absolute disgrace. Unexciting, dismal, but not surprised. I don't think anyone's going to be ranting. I look forward to the fan cams later because I don't think anyone's going to be ranting. Apathy reigns again. Just very, very dull, very uninspiring. And Mourinho doesn't seem to care. He doesn't seem to care. As long as he's getting 3 points and grinding out the games, he thinks that's enough. And I think he's in for a rude awakening next season because unless there is a big change in the way Manchester United play, and there has got to be a big change in the transfer market this summer, he's going to struggle next year because he's got to win the Premier League. Otherwise, he won't be here in a year's time. Nightmare TV says, is Mourinho even bothered about United? Seems as if he's just relaxing and coasting by. I think that's probably very relevant, but I do just want to say that Michael Carrick will definitely be missed. He's a legend in my mind at Manchester United. The last relic of an era where we were dominant. The last player from 2008. We did win a title under Sir Alex in that last season, but it wasn't a vintage title. Carrick was part of that, but Carrick was part of an era that just seems very, very long time ago now. Good football, dominant, big prizes. I hope that in his role as a coach he can bring those days back because watching that game today on the watch along, as many people were, the conversations weren't about the game. They were about films and what TV series to watch, and that reminds me of Van Gaal, and I thought those days were gone. But yeah, I do. I just think that Mourinho was fortunate today that we were saying it was a celebration of a legend in Michael Carrick, because if Carrick hadn't been part of that game today, I think that would have been a lot of empty seats. I think there would have been a lot of people. I mean, Watford probably should have got a point. If they could finish, they probably would have got a point. Man City, they hit 100 points. They went till the end and they win that game. But you look at the substitutions that Manchester City made. They're bringing on Foden. They're bringing on youth. Where was our youth today? Where was our youth today? What have we become under Jose Mourinho that in a meaningless game at home, there is no youth? There is Daley Blind. There is Matteo Darmian. There is Ashley Young at left back. There is Mata. There is Sanchez playing. There is no youth involved in that game. McTominay is youth, but he's not really youth. He's been the player for this season. Last season we played Crystal Palace and he played some youth and it invigorated the crowd and it gave us some momentum into the summer. This season, for some unknown reason, Jose Mourinho decided he wasn't going to do that. And people can point to the FA Cup, of course you can, but we had a Europa League final last year before that game against Crystal Palace and he played youth. Today he chose not to do it. Tottenham beat Leicester 5-4 on their last home game of the season. Liverpool beat Brighton 4-0 on their last home game of the season. Manchester United had one shot on target and grinded out a 1-0 win on their last home game of the season. This is where we're at the moment, and massive changes need to be massive changes need to be made. And it's not about being Mourinho out, because I'm not. But he needs to wake up. He really needs to wake up to what is going on with this club that he's managing. Does he not realise that the fans aren't happy? They're not happy. Our season's going to be defined by whether Liverpool win the Champions League or not. Our season's going to be defined by an FA Cup that Van Gaal won, and I want to win next week. I'm very excited about it. But if he doesn't win that FA Cup, this season is a failure. If he wins the FA Cup, it's acceptable. But the way we've played over recent weeks, where's the momentum into the new season? I mean, what I wanted to see over these last few weeks of the season was some momentum, some consistency in performance and selection, and it's not. It's changed the team every week, changed the team every week, changed the team. The only thing that's consistent is the fact that we don't create enough chances and it is boring to watch. Where's the momentum? He's basically, Mourinho said this morning on the Manchester United website, the gap between second and first is huge. The transfer window is going to be very difficult to operate in. It's going to be very hard to close the gap on Manchester City next season, but we'll try. Those are the words of a new manager. Those are the words of a manager coming in after the last 2 years, starting afresh. And that's an admission that Mourinho is starting afresh, despite having 2 years. Despite starting at the same point that Pep Guardiola started at Manchester City, he is now saying the gap between Manchester City and us is huge, and we're starting afresh again. Is there not going to be any sort of analysis of why and what's gone wrong over the last 2 years? Because it feels like he's starting afresh and saying it's going to be very, very difficult. Surely year 3 we should expect a title challenge, and I don't think it's impossible, but I think if he wins the Premier League from this point, it will be the biggest achievement of his career, because I think it will be nothing short of miraculous. I really do. But there we go. Anyway. Not a lot more I can say about it. That's what my feelings are at the moment. We are live at 8 o'clock tonight. We are going to be sort of a deep dive into the season, and obviously the Anthony Martial thing. All I'm going to say about Anthony Martial is I do not believe the injury. I don't believe it. Look, if Martial's injured, then he must be out for 6 months. If that's just a little knock, Anthony Martial is not going to go to the World Cup. Anthony Martial is not going to play in the FA Cup final. Today, Martial needed to play to give him an outside chance of playing in the FA Cup final and the World Cup. By not playing today, he's got no chance of playing in either. His season is over. So if he's got a little muscle pain or anything like that, you play today. So unless he's got a very serious injury, I reckon there's more to that injury than is being let out. I know Martial will say he's injured. I know United will say he's injured, because actually, if you say that, it's an amicable way to leave. But I think something's happened. I don't believe the injury. I've got no reason not to believe it. But I think unless your leg's hanging off, you play today. Mourinho said Martial was going to play, and if you're Martial, you play today because it's your last chance to get to the World Cup. And like I say, unless you can't run, you don't play. But it doesn't sound like it's that sort of injury, so I don't believe it. I think obviously that's going to be another negative for us to endure in the summer, that we see players go. But I hope not. Flex is at the match, Gaz. He'll be speaking to the fans after the game, which I'm really looking forward to see. Please do drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we will have Sophie on at 8 o'clock tonight with me as well, talking about the season, so I'm looking forward to that. So join us live at 8 o'clock. Lots to get involved with the United stand. Martial's wife in labour, says Jim Mellor. I mean, what? That's not true. He's injured. That's what MUTV said. So the conspiracy theories are still going on about Martial, aren't they? There's not going to be a Skype show tonight. Do we really want to take Skype shows after that? I mean, we will do it after the FA Cup final, but I don't see the point after that. See you at 8 o'clock. Watch out for the fan cams, and we're going to digest this season properly at 8 o'clock. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.